What's up, everyone? Ben Wigman here, field agronomist for Beck's Hybrids in Southern Illinois. Recording this morning on Monday, May 12th, where we got a nice rain shower outside here in Effingham, something that we're not used to, right? So we think about what's been going on here in Southern Illinois all the way, Route 16 and south, roughly where I cover. It's obviously been very wet. There's been some pockets across Southern Illinois that have been able to get in. So I want to come to you with some pointers that we need to keep in mind from today moving forward when we can get this crop planted. We will get a crop planted. I'm very confident that we will. So if we first off start talking about corn, okay? Corn is going to be something we're going to want to have a little bit more patience with, okay? Because corn can't compensate for a stand loss like soybeans can. So we want to make sure that we put that corn crop in as ideal conditions as we can, okay? Make sure we're at that 2-inch planting depth. Make sure it's not too wet and mucky around that seed to where we're going to have sidewall compaction that could lead to lack of nutrient and water uptake, things like that, okay? The next thing is, as far as maturity, don't deviate from your plan. As shown here on page 21 of the PFR book, where we study this in terms of planting date, when we get planted later, we still need to plant the hybrids that are meant for our type of ground, for our area. Don't go to an earlier maturity, okay? Now, I understand if we, don't have drying capabilities, things like that, we might need to deviate, but for the most part, we need to stick with our plan and stay where we're at, okay? We think about transitioning to soybeans. Now we're out of that early planted window on soybeans. So what do we need to do to drive yield? Okay, here again, maturity is going to be something that's really important. We start getting later in my area. I would say 3.4 and 3.5 and later is where we need to go, especially the late 2s and early 3s. That window is going to be gone. Okay, we need to make sure we have that proper maturity placement on the farm. The other things is narrow rows and increase seeding rates. Okay, 15-inch rows, 7.5-inch rows, so we can get the canopy closure. Okay, because we're not going to have as much branching capability. We think about increasing that population. Typically on early planted soybeans, I'm around 140 to 150. Now I want you to increase that about 10,000 plants up to about 150, 160,000 plants per acre. We want to get as many nodes per acre out there so we have as many spots for pods to be put onto that plant, okay? When we're planting these soybeans, make sure we have proper seeding depth, okay? 1.25 inches at least to 1.5 inches. We want to have a more consistent moisture and temperature band for that soybean to germinate in so we can get better emergence. The other thing that this is going to lead to is better nitrogen nodulation once we get into the growing season. We could have more consistent temperature and moisture when we're at that 1.5 inch depth for that soybean crop, okay? So these are a lot of things to keep in mind. Don't deviate from your plan. Maturity is extremely important. Planting date, conditions, population, row spacing, all these types of things are extremely, extremely important. If you guys have any comments, questions, suggestions, whatever you may have, feel free to reach out to myself or your local Beck's representative. Thanks and have a great day and stay safe in the coming weeks.